In this video, I'm going to talk about the consonants wa and ya as full-blown consonants and as semivowels. The consonants wa and ya preceding a vowel, a, I, or u, whether at the beginning of a word or a syllable, are always considered full-blown consonants. Here are some examples of native Hiligaynon words with wa and ya as full-blown consonants. The first example we have here for the consonant wa is wasay, meaning axe or to axe or to cut with an axe. Wasay. Another example we have is asawa, meaning wife. Asawa. In our first example here, the consonant wa is at the beginning of the word, and so it is sounded as a consonant. And in the second example here, it is in the middle of the word. However, if we really have to look at this closely, this consonant actually comprises the beginning of this syllable, because this word asawa has 3 syllables, a, sa, and wa. Therefore, it is considered as a full-blown syllable. So again, wasay, wasay, asawa, asawa. Next, let's have examples for the consonant ya. Our first word here is yabok, meaning dust. Yabok. Next is sandia, meaning watermelon. Sandia. Yabok also starts with the letter Y, followed by the vowel A. Since the letter Y is at the beginning of this word, yabok, it is sounded as a consonant. For our second example, the letter Y here is also found in the middle of the word. But if we have to examine this closely, the letter Y here is actually at the beginning of a syllable. Sandia has 3 syllables. San, di, ya. Sandia. And so the last syllable here, ya, begins with the letter Y. Therefore, this letter is a consonant. Sandia. Again, yabok. Yabok. Sandia. Sandia. So these are the cases when the letters W and Y are considered as full-blown consonants. When the consonants wa and ya come after a vowel, they themselves are sounded like a semivowel. Depending on which vowel they come after, the consonants wa and ya produce a diphthong. A diphthong is a combination of 2 vowel sounds in one single syllable. Diphthongs with the semivowels wa and ya could be found in the middle or at the end of a word. When they are found in the middle of a word, they are actually the final sounds of the syllable in that word. There are only 2 diphthongs for the consonant wa and also 2 for the consonant ya. When the consonants wa and ya follow the vowel a, you get au and ai respectively. The consonant wa rarely follows the vowel e, but when it does, you get iu. The consonant ya, on the other hand, does not follow the vowel e. That is because the diphthong a is non-existent in native Hiligaynon words. The consonant wa does not follow the vowel u or its allophone o. It just does not exist in native Hiligaynon words. The consonant ya, on the other hand, may follow the vowel sound u, giving us uy. Or it may follow the allophone o, giving us oy. Now let's have some examples for each case. For the au diphthong, we have 2 examples. We have tauhay and bangkaw. Tauhay, bangkaw. Tauhay means peaceful or relaxed. Bangkaw, on the other hand, means an arrow, or as a verb, to shoot with an arrow. In Tauhai, the diphthong ow is the final sound of the first syllable tau, and so it doesn't blend with the sound of the consonant that follows it. In the example Bangkaw, the diphthong ow is found at the end of the word, but it is also the final sound of the syllable kau. As you can see, it doesn't really matter where the diphthong ow is located. It could be in the middle of the word, or it could be at the end of the word. It is always the final sound of the syllable it is a part of. Now let's compare Tauhai with this word, tao. Tao, meaning a person or a human being. At first glance, there seems to be a diphthong in this word, but no, clearly there is no diphthong in this word, tao. Tao has two syllables, ta and wo, tao. It is clear to see that the vowel a belongs to the first consonant, ta, whereas the consonant wa belongs to the second syllable, wo. In this word, the letters A and W each represent two different and separate sound units. They are never integrated into one sound unit, which makes up a diphthong. Let's take a look at the A and the W in Tauhai again. These letters A and W make up one sound unit, the diphthong ow. So what's the takeaway here? Ow is a diphthong if it is the final sound of a syllable. Just like in the example tauhai, in the syllable tau, the final sound is represented by the diphthong ow. But for the word tao, the A and the W are two separate sound units representing two different syllables. Therefore, they are never a diphthong because they are never integrated into one sound unit, ow. Now let's have some examples for the diphthong I. The first word we have here is laygay. Laygay, meaning advice or to give advice. So it could either be a noun or a verb. Now this word laygay alone already has two I diphthongs, one in the first syllable and another one in the second syllable. Laygay. Just like the diphthong ow, I is also the final sound of a syllable. Just like the I in lay and the I in gay. The diphthong I could either be the final sound of a syllable or, in itself, a standalone syllable. Just like in the word aihan. Aihan is used in interrogative sentences to express speculation or uncertainty. So it could be best translated into English as I wonder. This word has two syllables, I and han. The first syllable is a diphthong I. And this diphthong is a standalone syllable because it does not attach itself to a consonant. The diphthong I as a standalone syllable is very rare in Hiligaynon words. Speaking of rare, there's another diphthong that does not appear very frequently even in native Hiligaynon words. And that diphthong is the diphthong ew. You can see this diphthong in the word paksiw. Paksiw. Paksiw is a dish or cooking method where fish or meat such as pork or beef, or in some regions in the Philippines, goat, is simmered in broth and vinegar with spices like ginger, garlic, chili, and other spices. Just like in the picture shown here. It is a dish of a fish paksiw, or in Hiligaynon, paksiw nga isda. In this photo, the fish used is bangros, or milkfish in English. So if you know what specific fish has been cooked in this way, bangros in this case, you may then say paksiw nga bangros. Another native Hiligaynon word where the rare diphthong ew appears is liwas. Liwas could mean as an adjective to be dislocated or to be misaligned. But as a verb, it could mean to dislocate or to misalign. But liwas could also be a noun. I did not write it down here, but as a noun, it means a misalignment or a dislocation. Hiligaynon diphthongs have a seemingly general characteristic. They are the final sound of a syllable that begins with a consonant. So as for ew in liwas, it is indeed the final sound of the syllable liw, following the consonant letter L. No native Hiligaynon word consists of the diphthong A. However, the diphthong A in loanwords from Spanish such as reina for queen, 20 for 20, and 30 for 30. Again, reina, 20, 30. So all these Spanish words have the diphthong A in them. Reina, 20, 30. But when these words are adapted into the Hiligaynon phonetic system, the diphthong A makes a shift into the diphthong I. And so reina becomes raina, the diphthong I here, from rey to rai. Reina, raina. We also have 20 into 20 in Hiligaynon. 20 becomes 20. 30 becomes 30 in Hiligaynon. 30, 30. 30, 30. So this is how the diphthong A from loanwords shifts into the diphthong I in Hiligaynon words. Now let's talk about yet another non-existent diphthong in Hiligaynon. The diphthong O or O does not comprise a Hiligaynon syllable. However, these diphthongs that do exist in loanwords, especially from English, are substituted by the native Hiligaynon U or its allophone O. Let's take snow in the name Snow White, for example. Clearly, there's a diphthong O in the word snow, and this diphthong O shifts into O when spoken with the Hiligaynon phonetic system. So snow becomes snow, and Snow White becomes Snow White. Snow White. That is how it would sound when spoken in Hiligaynon. Another example is bowling. The O in bowling shifts to O when spoken in Hiligaynon. So bowling would sound bowling with the Hiligaynon phonetic system. Bowling, bowling. Bowling, bowling. Snow White and bowling may sound differently when spoken in Hiligaynon. Snow White becomes Snow White, and bowling becomes bowling. However, it should be noted that proficiency in English is highly regarded by many Filipinos. Thus, there are Hiligaynon speakers who also retain the original English pronunciation. So some Hiligaynon speakers would still say Snow White rather than Snow White, and also bowling rather than bowling. But shifting these diphthongs as well as other vowel sounds into native Hiligaynon phonetics is very common and widely accepted. The diphthong uy or oi, just like the earlier diphthongs ow, I, and ew, is usually attached to a consonant and is the final sound of a syllable. For example, boylog, boylog. Boylog means to join or to be in solidarity with. Boylog has two syllables, boy and log. In the first syllable, we have the diphthong oi, which is also the final sound of this syllable. And since the diphthong oi appears in the first syllable, the spelling trend is to spell the word with the vowel u, hence the diphthong oi. For spelling trends with u and o, please watch lesson 4. The link is in the description below. Now let's take a look at this word, baboy. Baboy, meaning pig as a live animal, or it could also mean pork as the meat. Our diphthong in this word baboy is oi, which is a part of the final syllable, boy. Being in the final syllable, the allophone o usually forms the diphthong oi. The diphthong oi in this word is the final sound in the final syllable, boy. Now, the diphthongs oi or oi could also be standalone syllables in a word. Let's take, for example, the word maoy. Maoy as a verb means to go berserk after getting drunk. Or as a noun, it means a person who is, for a lack of a better term, a loose cannon after throwing a fit while under the influence of alcohol. The word maoy has two syllables, ma and oy. As you can see, the syllable oi is a standalone diphthong. That is because it is not attached to any consonant. It is a diphthong and a syllable in itself. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the 8 non-native or borrowed consonants used in modern Hiligaynon. This is Angelo, your Hiligaynon tutor. I teach Hiligaynon from my perspective as a native speaker. I post a video every week. Madamo gid nga salamat. Please like and subscribe.